Alright, here we go. For those of you who were here last week, we are still doing Rise from the Ashes, which is the final case of, the original Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney game. We've got through the first day of the trial, despite some frustration with the lovely Damon Gant. And, we will be continuing on towards God knows what, really. Hopefully we'll be able to untangle this mess. I'm just gonna put out my usual Discord notification. If I am a little bit slower to react to chat today, wonderful news. I actually got a new monitor, which is very exciting. But it also means I have to kind of do a split screen thing that I'm not super used to yet. So I'm kind of looking off to the right where the monitor is. It's gonna take some adjusting, I think. But this should be good. Alright. With that, we will continue with this day of investigating and try to figure out, honestly, what the hell is going on in this game. You come for objections? Time to fight Von Karma's lover. Oh yeah, right. Did we expand egg whites? Is that what we did? Is egg whites gonna go from an OT3 to an OT4? It's just the egg whites polycule at this point. We're just gonna keep adding members to that horrific conglomerate of terrible father figures. So, let's talk to Angel Star a bit, because she happens to be here. Today's trial. You certainly put me in a nice spot today, a tight spot today. Villainous gay bar. My god, that sounds like a hell of a fanfiction. Your limbs ache more with every sentence related to this polycule, but okay. Villainous gay bar, though. That sounds wonderful. I want that. My apologies, Miss Star, but... No, it's okay. It was my fault. Oh, we know. I witnessed everything from that security room, right there. But I was afraid that wouldn't sound convincing enough, you see? I mean, why would it need to sound more convincing than, by the way, guys, I witnessed a murder? I was wrong to think that. I'm sorry. Sorry? You lied on the witness stand! That's unforgivable. Little girl, don't forget what's important here. Even if the place I witnessed events from was different, I still saw what I saw. The Twitch app is still not working on your phone? Oh, but you're getting a phone upgrade next week. That's good to hear, kissy face. I should probably set up to upgrade mine at some point soon. Oh well, I'll figure that out when I get there. Emma, literally everyone commits perjury. Perjury seems to be really the most common crime in the Ace Attorney series. I saw Chief Prosecutor Skye stab a man in cold blood, and that testimony still stands. I swear it on my honor as a detective. She stabbed Goodman. She stabbed Goodman, but did she kill Goodman? Because it seems like Goodman died somewhere else. But by that logic, then she wouldn't be the murderer. She just kind of defiled a corpse a bit. I mean, that's still pretty bad, but it's not murder, right? I know this photograph has something important to tell us, but what? Alright, I assume Phoenix wants me to come look at the court photographs. The crime photo. There's something weird going on here. There has to be. There has to be an entire secondary game following all of the perjury cases in this world. That would be a hell of an Ace Attorney game. There are Ace Attorney spin-offs. There's well, we're finally getting the Great Ace Attorney in the West this year, which I'm very much looking forward to. Those are prequels, essentially. There's the Miles Edgeworth Investigations games. You can imagine how those are set up. And, there's also, you know, the, ever lovely, strange little crossover, what is it? Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright that I have on 3DS. Alright. What do we think about this photo, chat? Phoenix is like, there must be something that it can tell us. Alright. I know this photograph has something important to tell us, but what? PL versus AA is fucking wild. It is. I vaguely remember that game, I haven't played it in years. I was like super into Professor Layton versus Ace Attorney when it came out in high school for me. I played it a lot. I remember that there are witches. The way she's wearing that coat, her arms aren't in the sleeves. The twist fucked you up. Oh yeah, I remember the twist of that game, though I won't spoil it just in case we happen to play it here. Though I'd have to emulate it unless I can find someone willing to install a capture card on my 3DS. So, you were a detective, weren't you, Miss Starr? Yes, it was a long time ago. Oh, wow. 2 years ago. No matter how hardened the criminal, when they faced me, they coughed it up. Coughed it up? They confessed. They babbled like babies. You know. It may seem like a demon sometimes, but I can be an angel too. I wouldn't doubt it. Every day I dragged the dirt out of the mouths of suspect after suspect. And before long, they called me the cough-up queen. Oh, and here I thought someone had gotten food poisoning from your lunches. And you were let go. Ergo, fired? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if these prim and proper prosecutors hadn't let me go, I'd still be there one day. Be one today, not be there one day. What the? My reading comprehension is melting. Be one today. Emma is rather precious. It's all because of that case. The SL9 incident. Is the SL9 incident the new DL6 incident? SL9? Wait, she doesn't mean. If you'll remember from last week... Yeah, it's pretty much the new DL6. Everything's gonna come back to this case, isn't it? Alright, so if we remember from last week, we found a note from Goodman, or on Goodman's stationery, which said 221 SL9. I wonder if Angel Star will have some comments on that. What do you think about this? The SL9 incident. It's written on that knife. And on that note. Goodman. Goodman was the head detective on that case, you know. Really? That knife was evidence from that case. The murder weapon. I love the really cheery background music to this line. It was due for transferal the very day Goodman was killed. As I suspected. SL9 isn't over. Not yet. Do you think you could tell us more about the SL9 incident? Could you please? What was this case? Explain. Well, no, she isn't offering more information. Well, we got more stuff I want to show her. What do you think about Goodman's ID? I had one of those up until 2 years ago. Back when you were the cough-up queen, right? We found this ID card here in the parking lot. Well, there's no mistaking that. It's definitely Goodman's. But it's the same ID as the man who was killed at the police department. That's impossible. I wish I could be so sure. Angel, I don't think it's as impossible as you think. We're in a murder mystery. Welcome to hell. Okay. Well, what do you think about that crime scene photo that you apparently took instead of going after her? If you think about it, I could have taken that photo from the guard room. But even I get flustered sometimes. So you went straight to the scene of the crime. I rushed towards the chain link fence in an effort to stop the murder. That's when I took this photo, yes. Hey, I did notice something about this now that I look about it. So if you look at where she's standing, there's one oil drum behind her. But in the image we have now of the actual crime scene, there are two and one is knocked over on the floor. In other words, 5 minutes after the crime. Those 5 minutes are the whole problem. The hole in my testimony, as it were. Those 5 minutes weren't the problem, Miss Starr. You lying was the problem. Listen, little girl. I've had my testimony disregarded before. Ooh, that sounds like corruption. And I wasn't going to have it disregarded again. Just like that time. That time. Will you tell me about the SL9 incident, please? That incident really opened my eyes to the truth. We're nothing to them. Disposable. It's almost like they created a fake murder scene. It really does look that way, doesn't it? But why? Disposable? To who? 2 years ago, it was the biggest case I'd ever handled. The police and the prosecutors were desperate for decisive evidence. So, they didn't solve it? On the contrary, it was solved quite cleanly. The criminal was caught and executed. Damn, and within 2 years of what happened? That's a freaking fast execution, even in Japan, honestly. Maybe it was disregarded because it wasn't conclusive. Please tell me this person was an innocent angel. Executed. Yes, the criminal got what was coming to him. It doesn't get any cleaner than that. The only problem was, they never did find decisive evidence. Not a shred. What? But the criminal was executed, right? On the basis of evidence of a sort. Made up evidence. What? You mean they executed someone with fabricated evidence? The best part came several months after the trial. Every detective involved with the case was dealt with. Some were demoted to patrolmen. Others find themselves out of the job. And you were one of those. Myself, and one other person you know as well. Wait, could it be... Exactly. Detective Jake Marshall. Oops, I mean Police Department Security Detail Officer Jake Marshall. Oh, you'd think even Redacted in the third game was at least 4 years, and she was a known serial killer. Yeah, and later on we see someone with a similar, incident in which they were accused of murder, and didn't that take, like, a solid 10 years before Redacted was supposed to have their, death day? Yes, him, your son. I know, you know who I mean. Redacted. A good boy, Redacted, but he was, his death date was a solid 10 years after his crime, so whatever happened here, it must have been pretty intense. As professional detectives, we investigated that case from every angle. Jake was particularly determined. And then, it was over, and he was demoted. Yeah, or a cover-up. All of this screams of corruption within the police department. The criminal didn't have any decisive evidence against them, and yet was executed within 2 years. While I wholeheartedly believe that in any system that has capital punishment nowadays, even in our own country especially, there are people on death row who could very easily be exonerated by modern evidentiary standards, which is terrifying. This is just kind of a reflection of that. However, he hasn't forgotten, and neither have I. You haven't forgotten SL9. There was another side to that case, a hidden side. That's what we're after now. Yeah, that's the reason so many places have abolished the death penalty. If for no other reason than that even in the most careful and well-kept court systems we have, people slip through the cracks. Wrong verdicts do get cast out. And I agree, in my opinion, if there is any chance that someone innocent could be executed, then you should completely abolish that practice. I know that people have varying opinions on that, and that it's a very personal issue for many people, so I'm not going to push the issue or anything. It's about as political as my streams are ever going to get. The fact that they resorted to fabricated evidence already makes you suspicious of all of this. That is already very suspicious. And no one up in their fancy offices can stop us. Wait, those lunches you sell. There is only one reason I come to sell lunches in this accursed office. I come here to meet old friends, boyfriends, that can help me investigate. Miss Starr's old boyfriends. How many does she have, anyway? Just when all the detectives in SL9 have disappeared, we find new evidence. There has to be a connection. So, Rookie? What? It seems like you're serious about investigating this case. Yes. Then you should take this. A Salisbury steak lunch? I know a certain guy who might help you if you can tempt him with this treat. Received from Miss Starr. Excellent for putting Officer Marshall into a good mood. Not gonna lie, she says boyfriend, like how straight girls call their friend's girlfriend. Oh god, I know exactly what you mean when you say that. Intriguing. I like your theories. Miss Starr? Officer Marshall, is he your, are you his... Are you going out? Why do you want to know? I was just wondering what happened to him. A long time ago when he was helping my sister do cases, he was so nice. He got along so well with her that it made me jealous. And he was nice to me back then. This would be when Officer Marshall was a detective. But now he's so cold. Jake and I are merely cooperating on this investigation. We're putting the past to rest, as it were. Nothing more than that. I see. Thank you. Officer Jake Marshall. So, we appear to be dealing with a cover-up of some kind. Yeah, there's one more barrel here than there was in the photographed image of this place. Something is going on here. But let's go see if we can meet up with Marshall and get him his lunch. February 23rd, Police Department entrance. You'll be back, it's dinner time. Have a nice dinner. It's a very late dinner time. It's even busier here today than it was yesterday. The detectives are running around so fast that they're blurring. I suppose it makes sense. A detective did get killed here, after all. Oh, I just eat real early then, I guess. So, the evidence room. The scene of the crime. According to the pamphlet we got at the front desk, here it is. She's like a kid at an amusement park. Ooh, a real crime scene. Let's go take a look. Alright. These two guys are still here. Wonder what they're talking about. Look, that patrolman is saluting that other guy. He must be a detective. You idiot! What were you thinking? Where's your head? Sir, it's right here, sir. Oh. I guess he wasn't saluting. He was showing the detective where his head was. They make a good pair. I love that Phoenix is just shipping these random two dudes here. The guard station. Oh, gee. Guys, I wonder whose room this is. With all of the Wild West memorabilia that you could possibly want. And a lot of alcohol, I might add. A lot of it. Did this man put a rope trap in front of the elevator? What's with the decor in this place? It's very eccentric. According to the pamphlet, this is the guard station for the evidence room. So beyond that door is the evidence room. The scene of the crime? Yes, he did. He really put a trap in front of the elevator. Or the door, rather. It sure seems that way. Oh. What's wrong? It's those cacti. They're so prickly. So imposing. It's hard to think straight. So this is the guy that was asleep when Von Karma tased us. Yeah, I guess he was taking a nap. If you can't handle the cacti, stay out of the desert. What I want to know is, if this is a guard station, where's the guard? I have a feeling I know who he is already. This swinging door makes the place look like some kind of saloon. But look, it's nailed shut. You can't get in that way. Of course not. If you went in through here, the cactus would fall over. Ouch. I'd say it'd be more of a yarg myself. Yipes, these sure are prickly. They must be the real deal. I would think that just one big one would be sufficient. These cacti are a lot like my sister, actually. How so? Encased in a cold, rigid shell, with spines pointing in every direction. Just like her. Oh. Oh dear. I'm not so sure I see the resemblance. It's more an attitude thing than a physical similarity. We'll get this. Okay. Still think your client is trying to take the fall for someone else. Seems that way, doesn't it? There's a security guard uniform hanging there. Looks more like a costume than a uniform, honestly. A leather jacket, leather pants, a leather... What was that called again? A punchy. Paunchy? Pinchy. Poochie. Wait, maybe that wasn't it. It's a poncho, but I think I'll keep that information to myself for the time being. Phoenix. Don't be mean. I wish he would comment on the skull on the wall. Looks like the video feed from the evidence room is here. There's a light blinking below the monitor. It says recording. I bet we could use this computer to check on who went in and out of here. Oh god, that's useful. That's very useful. Where the hell is Jake right now? We need to talk to you, man. Look, on the floor. A lasso. Looks like it's set up to trap something. A trap? Here? Oh, wait, I know. Maybe someone was trying to catch a wild bull in here. But the lasso missed. You sure have an active imagination. Alright, I don't think there's anything else I need to check in here right now. Oh, the door. The evidence room is beyond that door. Let's just walk in. It won't open. You thought it'd be open? I think we need someone's permission to go in there first. And where is Jake? Jake, we need to talk to you. Alright. It's like those rusty metal stars that every house in rural areas seem to have. It's part of the aesthetic. This place is charged with frantic energy, as always. Please? Huh? Wasn't that? One steak lunch, please. Oh, it's you. Detective Gumshoe. Now's not the time for chit-chat, pal. I'm a busy man. What I really need is a steak lunch from Lunchland. Oh, you mean one of these? Actually, it's not for sale. I think I just heard the sound of his heart breaking. Now's no time for despair. We caught the criminal. We just need evidence. The criminal? You mean... You heard about the stabbing at the police department evidence room, right, pal? On the same day that a detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot, another detective was killed at the police department. And the perpetrator? Do you have a suspect? Well, there was a suspect. Just arrested them, in fact. Poor Gumshoe, indeed. It's the biggest scandal to hit the station in ages. Everything's topsy-turvy. But Detective Gumshoe, who was it? Listen, pal, all I know is I need me a steak lunch pronto. Standing around here talking isn't gonna fill my belly. Wait, don't leave. If you want to know more, head down to the detention center, pal. Questioning should be over, so I figure he's down there having a good cry. Oh god. There's another defendant. Later. ran off to the evidence room. Well, this investigation is off to a running start. Gumshoe is the only detective you've seen that you're 100% sure is not corrupt. I don't know. I wish we could stay here and listen to the song, but I really want to see whoever's at the detention center now. February 23rd, detention center visitors room. Still, I do feel better about things. A little. I mean, they caught the person who stabbed Detective Goodman, didn't they? Yeah, I guess they did. Hey, new question, Emma. If Detective Goodman was stabbed in the evidence room and they caught the person who killed him, then why are we still defending Lana if she didn't kill him? My head hurts. Best not go too far down that road right now. This will just get confusing. It's already confusing. What was that? Sir, that's what I'm saying. Me, a perpetrator. I'd say I was perpetrated against, sir. That's what I'd say. Hi. Greetings, sir. Wait, I know who you are. Excuse me, but is, Mr. Edgeworth anywhere on the premises? Oh no, they made him the scapegoat. It would seem so. I'm here, sir, at the request of the chief, sir. I've got your report, sir. Officer Meekins! So you're a guard here at the detention center? No, sir, I'm not, sir. I'm a little lost patrolman, like a little lost lamb, sir. Oh, I get it. You're here to deliver a report? No, sir. How should I say this? Wait, he isn't. Is he? You, Officer Meekins. You didn't, did you? Perpetrator Officer Meekins reporting, sir. What? What? Now this is an unexpected turn of events. What the fuck? Wait, what happened to you? I'm curious what this guy is thinking. This guard monitors the visitors room. Seeing a fellow patrolman in here must make him worry about his own fate in life. No comments from the peanut gallery. Press X to doubt. I guess so. Meekins. What the fuck happened? Sir, I'm a patrolman with general affairs, sir. Sir! Ow, I can hear you fine, Officer Meekins. I had some business that day, sir, so I went to the evidence room, sir. The guard station in front of the room was empty, sir. So, normally there's a guard in the evidence room. That's right, sir, because evidence is kept in the evidence room, sir. Now the security officer was none other than Officer Marshall. Marshall? Then, sir, I happened to glance at the security room monitor. That's when I saw him, sir. A suspicious person in the evidence room. A suspicious person, sir! A suspicious person, yow! What the heck is this guy doing? So what happened then? After that, sir, everything went right. I saw red, I blacked out. And when I came to, I was here, in the detention center. How long were you out? Days? Might I ask, what happened to your hand? Sir, there was no one to bandage me, sir. So I did what I could to wrap it, sir. You're putting your money on the Lysander-looking Chief being behind all of this. Lysanderoth, you were behind all this! What a shock. What a twist. A bandage on his hand, just like Miss Sky. Yet another similarity between this case and the one at the prosecutor's office. First things first, tell us how you hurt your hand. Why is that making you imagine Edgeworth with Sephiroth hair? I don't like that image, Lycosone. I don't mean to pry, but you are the perpetrator, correct? You killed Detective Bruce Goodman in the evidence room, right? Sir, please don't look at me with those puppy dog eyes, sir. Please don't blare your megaphone at my poor chat, Meekins. If you have to label me as perpetrator or victim, sir, then label me victim. I would, but you happen to be in detention. And alive and well at that. Oh, yes, well, that's true, sir. I suppose you could say that. Did you know the victim, Detective Goodman? Well, sir, if I had to label him as a stranger or a total stranger, then I'd say he leans heavily to the total stranger side. So you didn't know him? Sir, I work in a tiny department, devoid of life or other creature comforts. I don't know any detectives. So if he was a total stranger, why did you stab him? Sir, I had no intention of killing him, sir. None. Nor do I have any recollection of killing him, sir. At least someone around here is more confused than I am. I don't know, I'm pretty confused, Phoenix. About your hand, did that happen during the course of the crime? Well, you see, sir, Don't you think you should just confess? But sir, but there was nothing I could do! Nothing you could do? Sir, to tell the truth, sir, what had happened. When the detective pointed that knife at me, I just hollered, sir. Wait, what? What? Oh god, this is more complicated than we thought, isn't it? So he tried to stab Meekins. No, his hand was not damaged when he went to go deliver a report to Miles earlier. Was it? And the next thing I knew, I was unconscious. The next thing you knew, you were... Huh? Then when I opened my eyes, I was alone in the evidence room, sir, all alone. Alone because Detective Goodman had disappeared. What? Then when I looked down, I was gushing blood from my hand, sir. Oh, the shock. Oh, the sorrow, sir. Can you imagine how I felt? The victim's body disappeared. That's some story. Holy shit, Meekins. Alright, so a random stranger, a detective, just randomly decided to murder someone in an evidence room or inexplicably cut his hand? Do you think you could take a look at this? Hey! That's it, sir. That's it. That's it. That's what? My head was blank until this very moment. But sir, now I remember, sir. You mean you remember what happened? Correct. That card was the cause of it all. This ID card.
Exactly, sir. That's exactly it. Nothing could be more exact, sir. Nothing.
I'd better pry into this one a little deeper. What do you mean? Without a pre-existing psychological condition, you have doubt about this case for his guilt? Maybe my brain is hurting too badly, but that sentence does not make total sense to me. Can you tell me what it is you do remember?
Well, sir, you might say I'm a lost little patrolman. A lost little lamb, if you will. I didn't know who Mr. Detective Goodman was in the evidence room, and
that's why you thought he looked suspicious.
Sir, I entered the evidence room and I asked the man to show his ID card.
Well, that sounds pretty much by the book so far.
That's right, sir. That's what I've been trying to tell you.
So you asked Detective Goodman to show his ID card. What did he do?
That's the thing. Suddenly he pointed a knife at me.
What?
Sir, I assure you I was as flustered as you are right now.
Yeah, who was wearing Goodman's coat? This is all so suspicious. What is going on here?
So I whooped and leaped at him.
Detective Goodman pointed a knife at him.
Do unto others before they do unto you. My own father's words, sir.
What happened then?
Well, my eyes, sir. Everything went white. When I awoke, I was here.
Right. So, Officer Meekins, why is it that they arrested you? What do you mean, Emma? Well, let's look at what we know. Now, Officer Meekins didn't know Detective Goodman, and the victim who he met at the scene of the crime didn't show his ID card. In other words, we don't have any way of knowing if the victim was really the victim. Oh God, that sentence melts my brain. And if this body just disappeared from the evidence room, we don't even know if anyone actually died.
That's it, sir. That's what I wanted to say. That is, I did say something along those lines.
Huh? But you still ended up here.
They told me that it had to be him, sir. On that day, at that time. Detective Goodman was definitely in the evidence room. That's what they said.
But you don't remember the events clearly.
No, but the videotape is quite clear.
Huh? Videotape?
From the security camera. The crime, my crime, the crime I swore to stamp out. It's there on tape. It's me.
And you waited up till now to tell us this?
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, sir. I'll hand over my badge. I don't deserve it.
No thanks. I have my own. Well, I guess we'd better go check out the crime scene. Before that, though, let's stop by Criminal Affairs. Oh, I'm gonna destroy my voice tonight, aren't I? Let's sip some iced tea. The Badger. The Badger is here. Hey, Mr. Wright. Look who's standing at the Chief of Detectives' desk. It's Police Chief Gant. And you are sure this is all, You know what it means if there's anything missing. Ah, yes, Lysanderoth over here. 80% of the tension in these games comes from people not telling everything they know at once. Yeah, well. Sir, I'm sure it's most likely totally perfect. We checked all of his drawers, lockers, garbage cans, bags, coat pockets, hats, under his seat cushion, behind his computer monitor, inside his personal coffee machine. He has a personal coffee machine. Excuse me? Someone is very shishi. I see. Well, if anything does turn up, you give me a call right away, deal? Yes, sir. We'll scour the place again, sir. Did you check the thinker clock? Dojima. I hope it's not Dojima. Dojima doesn't deserve to deal with this bullshit. Dojima has enough shit to deal with in Inaba without having to deal with LA/Tokyo crime. The chief of detectives looks a little flustered. Aha! Righto, my boy. How you been? Swim much? Chief Grant, reporting for duty, sir. Why are you saluting him, Mr. Wright? I do quite like his theme, though. Is Edgeworth okay? Oh my god, I like how I asked that, then Phoenix asked that. Oh, I love that that's the first question you ask, Gant. It's like, is Edgeworth gonna be okay, Mr. Gant? You're gonna push this man into the sea. Oh, Worthy. You know, they're doing a little inquiry committee with him. Sounds like an inquisition. Yep, well, they had no end of trouble with the boy since last year. You mean the incident at Gourd Lake? Oh, it doesn't look good having a prosecutor sit in the defendant's seat, does it? Bitch, he was falsely accused. What was he supposed to do? And you got someone else found guilty in that case. Right, righto? Well, we do know that Manfred von Karma had ties to the previous chief prosecutor. And the music just cut out completely. Von Karma. A legend he was, undefeated in his 40-year career. But in court you fixed it so he was caught for forging evidence. Wait, I didn't do anything wrong. He did forge evidence. In any case, the prosecutor's office is in a bit of turmoil, you might say. Why, they'd do just about anything to restore their reputation. Now, depending on what the inquiry committee decides, it could be bad for Worthy. What? Well, so fuck everyone involved with that, including you, then. Ah, yes, the villainous gay bar. Yeah, the previous chief prosecutor also attends the villainous gay bar. The villainous gay bar is mostly Ace Attorney characters right now. Is Adachi welcome at the villainous gay bar? It's an interesting question. Discuss while I ask Gant about the evidence room. It's downright odd, I tell you. The detective getting killed on their turf too, I mean. They're being the prosecutors, I assume. He's the bartender. Oh my god. Or no, he's an incel too straight. You guys are gonna kill me tonight. You really are. Scientifically speaking, it's impossible. Yes, but that's what the evidence is saying. Goodman was stabbed in 2 locations at the same time. That's what it says. What evidence is this? Now, Righto, I can't give away all our secrets just like that. In this, in particular, well, it's a little sensitive, and I can't talk about it. Yeah, no, you're the villain. Like, I'm sorry, chat. There is no way that Gant can both throw shade at Edgeworth and also not give out evidence for how someone could have been killed in two places at the same time without being somehow complicit in both of those things. He wants Edgeworth gone because he's upset and spiteful over the Von Karma incident. And on top of that, you know, he literally now is not showing us evidence that we would need to be able to help solve this case, that he openly admitted in court that the police department is too overburdened to figure out on their own. I wasn't expecting much anyway. You know, one thing I hate most of all is hiding stuff. Secrets. Can't stand them. But you know, it's a full-time job just keeping the chief of detectives' trap shut. Ah, he was the one you were picking on earlier. Funny how his beard looks like the bottom of several blades. You're sorry you love X and Y, but Lysander is too obvious. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Huh? You saw that? Oh, whoops. I wonder what it was that he wanted the chief of detectives to do. Let's see if we can kind of discreetly ask him. Let's see if we can talk to the detective. You're curious about the red cross shape that his tie makes. Yeah. It just gives off bad vibes, doesn't it? Oh, sorry you had to see that. What exactly did the chief of police want you to do? Well, see over there, that's Goodman's desk. He wanted me to check it for anything that might be a clue. They took away every last piece of garbage in the trash can. So nothing belonging to Detective Goodman is still here? Of course not. Well, except for this. What? You kept something? Sure, why not? It's not important. He didn't even finish writing it. Took them all away to destroy them, yeah. It's a lost item report, but it's only half complete. A lost item? Did Detective Goodman lose something? The date on it is February 21st. Better make a note of that, just in case. A half-written document dated... 2/21. Can only be submitted to the Chief of Police. I should really get back to investigating the police department crime scene. I want to investigate this thing a little bit, though. Okay, this is a little sus. He crossed out the second ID number on his ID. It looks like it was a 9, but it was crossed out to be a 7. Actually, that's not correct at all. Because his ID would be 5'8". Whose ID starts with a 5'9", then? Or someone didn't have Bruce Goodman's ID but still wanted to put in the report. Something about this is suspicious. Alright, well, let's go see if we can talk to Marshall. Maybe. Is he here now? No. Well, that sucks. Oh, maybe we need to tell Gant something else. You do that IRL? I mean, yeah. Actually, I was wondering if I could ask you a favor. Well, I never thought the day would come when Righto asked me for help. I was wondering if we could investigate the evidence room. I'm a little scared. No. Righto. Actually, I'm sorry. I don't need to investigate after all. Righto, please. Do I look like a selfish man? You look like... You know why his design rubs me the wrong way? He looks like a hyper-Christian cult leader. That's what he looks like to me. With the cross tie and the bright suit and the very concerning smile. Like, he looks like the kind of guy who would, like, you know, lead his congregation to give him, like, millions of dollars in the vein of being some branch of Christianity or something. Huh? Heck, if anyone asked me, sir, can I borrow $50, I'd give them $50, no problem. So go ahead, investigate that room to your heart's content. Knock yourself out. It just goes to show, you never know till you ask. And for you, here, you can borrow this. Huh? Hey, this is a detective's ID card, isn't it? That's a special card for guests, so don't lose it. Yes, sir. It's an honor. You just run along and do your best now. Later, folks. He really does give off a cult leader vibe. It looks pretty cool on my lapel, doesn't it? Just think, a real ID. You seem happy. He's modeled after Zeus and the staff's image of a television presenter. So apparently if you smash Zeus and a television presenter together, you get a cult leader. Yeah, that sounds about right, doesn't it? Yes, sir! Because, sir, we can go into the evidence room now! I think this place is a bad influence on the girl. Also, his name is derived from Damon in all languages. Yeah, that does sound about right. Demon Gan. Alright, is this in the court record, or is Emma's just wearing it? Okay. We can't check it yet, unfortunately. Let's see if Marshall is here now. No? We can just go into the... Can we go into the evidence room? Oh, do I have to... I'm being... moving to the wrong area. I'm menuing wrong. Can I menu correctly today? Replace all the name A's in his name with E's. Demon Gent? Wait, I'm sorry, my brain. Yeah, Demon Gent. There's something wrong about this man. Demon Gent. I see it now, chat. I'm sorry. My brain kind of made the E sound like the A. Because English is a freaking puzzle. The evidence room is just beyond that door. And we have the ID card from Chief Gant. Let's just walk in. It won't open. Aha! The card reader is turned off, see? What is that security guard thinking? Howdy, partners. Well, well. What's made my Bambina's skies go so gray? Officer Marshall. Why does it have to be him? What's that why does it have to be him look for? As you may have surmised, this here's my saloon. We're here to investigate the crime scene. Yeehaw, that card you got there on your chest. That's better than a sheriff's badge in these parts. Yeehaw? Well, what you standing there for? Get along, little doggies. The crime scene's awaiting. Looks like the card reader's on again. While we're here, I was wondering if I could ask you some questions. Sorry, cowboy, but I got no mind to tangle with you, hombres. You're busy, then. Did I say that? I only said I didn't wish to speak with you. Actually, you said you had no mind to tangle with us hombres. What if I give you steak. That's mail. Ah, reminds me of Texas. So, Officer Marshall, you're from Texas? No, I just saw a special on television the other day. Is this for my baby? Yeah, Miss Starr. What's this? What? What's wrong? A filet steak lunch. I see. I don't see. I wonder what it means. Steak lunch given to Officer Marshall. Alright, Bambina. You win. I think that Angel Star has secretly encoded some sort of message with her steak. That is the level of complicated this case gets down to. Ask, yeah, coded lunch message. Finally, it seems like he's willing to talk. Probably they're trustworthy. That would be my guess, too. She only gave out the lunch when she could tell that A, Phoenix Wright clearly cares about the truth more than anything else. Also Emma, who consistently is upset with her for lying at all. And the fact that they are interested in solving the SL9 incident. It's like something from the series of unfortunate events. It does kind of feel that way. Officer Marshall, you're in charge of security for the evidence room, right? You got good eyes, partner. It's an easy job, and I'm grateful for it. Actually, Officer Meekins at the detention center told us. That poor little doggy. Poor guy kept getting his name wrong and calling him Meekly. He told us something. He said that when the stabbing occurred, you weren't at your station. Well, maybe I shouldn't be telling you this. But since I got demoted from detective 2 years ago, well, it might not look it, but I lost my 5 for the job, you see. So what were you doing around 5:15 when the murder took place? Well, I reckon I was galloping down the highway on the back of my steed Zippy. Note, he was riding down the highway on his horse named Zippy. Oh, so he was drunk. Yeah, no, I don't think that's what he means, Emma. There's no need for people here anyhow. These newfangled machines do a bang-up job of keeping an eye on the place. You mean the security camera system? I don't take to machines much. Kinda like that stewed broccoli that sneak in next to your steak, you know? Yeah, sounds like he was very drunk and not paying attention. Miss Starr told us something. She said that you were a detective until 2 years ago. He could have been drunk and riding a horse. I would not be surprised if it was both, yeah. It was always my dream to be a rawhide wrangler on the scene of a crime. That's all gone now, like a drinking hole to a prairie fire. You're still investigating the SL9 incident with Miss Starr, aren't you? That was my case. It's all solved on the record books, but it smells like a bad game of poker. I can't let it go. That's all there is to it. What kind of case was it anyway? We've heard the name so many times, but no one actually tells us what happened. There are some things you're better off not knowing, Bambina. Anyway, that case is officially dead as of 2 days ago. 2 days ago. The day of our case. That's right. The evidence transferals. Edgeworth was talking about transferals too. I know that maybe 2 of the machines here do. Only 2 of them? There must be a dozen. Like I said, Bambina, me and machines, well, I like them about as much as I like stewed cauliflower with my steaks. The easiest ones to understand here are the security cameras. Those are the ones that Officer Meekins mentioned. If nothing happens, then the tapes are automatically erased every few hours. Of course they fucking are. Why wouldn't they be? Why? And Officer Meekins and Detective Goodman, are they on one of those tapes? I reckon they might be. You're the security guard, and you reckon. One more thing. When you go into the evidence room, you need an ID card. Thus the card reader by the door. The card reader reads a record of every ID card that passes through. Oh. Who the fuck has 777777 at 4:20 p.m.? Hey, I've seen that somewhere before. Sorry, Bambina, I can't show you more than that. Huh? I haven't heard whether this is related to the case yet. Mr. Wright, I saw a number on that record just now. I've seen that number before. Yeah, Detective Goodman's number is on the record. Maybe there's some way I can say that that record is tied to the stabbing. Yeah, it should have been 69696969 at 4:20, you mean? Yeah. See this? This is the victim's ID card. Ah, the one that was on the ground in the parking lot. The number on this is 5842189. Officer Marshall, show us the ID card record again. Look, the fourth number, a perfect match. It was used at 5:14, right before the stabbing. What's more, there's only one of them cards in the world. See, that's the interesting thing. Who is 49898596? Because they went in and then presumably out, or they went in twice. That actually makes me more suspicious of this document, because exactly, remember the crossed out 9. Honestly, it seems more likely from that logic that 4989596 is implicit in this in some way. Because whoever was writing this lost item report from Bruce Goodman managed to remember the first number, but they tried to put their own as the second number, and then messed up the item report. Honestly, if we look at the handwriting, it doesn't look the same. All of this is sus. But wait, what did Officer Meekins say? Sir, I entered the evidence room and asked the man to display his ID card. So you asked Detective Goodman to show his ID card. What did he do? That's the thing! Suddenly he pointed a knife at me. If he had his ID card then... why would he have pointed a knife at Officer Meekins? Alright, compadre, you win. Just to make sure, let's look here. The 9 here kind of has a curvy bottom, we'll say. It's a curvy 9. But if we look at the 9 on this document, the handwriting is much neater, and the 9 is very flat. I think that we've got two people here and someone trying to do something in Bruce's name without his ID card. Alright, compadre, you win. I guess I can give you this ID card record. I've got an idea. Maybe I should show this list to other people with IDs here. So if I show this to, say, Gumshoe, then he would know what Gumshoe is. The 9 on the item report is written from the top and the 1 on the note starting from the bottom. That's also true. Encoding overloaded. Well, that's not great. Are you okay, OBS? Is OBS alright? Faster preset. I don't know how to fix that in the middle of the stream. Is everything coming through okay for you? We can hear you, can you hear us? I can see chat. I don't know why. I think it's fine. The frames per second dropped by like 2. It's just frames dropping, that's about it. How bad of frames dropping we talking here? Have I moved the skiing at all? I have not. I'm gonna talk to Marshall. You guys let me know if frames are dropping as he talks. Oh, no, now it's back to normal. I have no idea what that was. Sorry, but you could you explain this whole evidence transferal thing? Huh. We keep only evidence from solved cases in this room. They're kept here under the presiding detective's supervision for 2 years. So we can reinvestigate them if it turns out there was a mistake, you see? Random background processes on my computer, probably. Probably. I mean, I just updated it. So what happens to the evidence after 2 years? It goes to sleep forever in an underground vault at the country sheriff's department. That's what we all call transferal. We do it every February. I see now. Transferal is like a funeral for old cases. 2 years after a case is solved, it's closed forever. Dead. Never to be reopened again. Never to be reinvestigated. And that happened to SL9 2 days ago. Yeah, I don't think it's an OBS issue. I have no idea what on my computer made it so upset. I literally only have the game and OBS open right now. Alright. You can see several faults with that? Yeah. At least they don't throw out the evidence. It could be worse. They keep it, but it's not at the department anymore. February 23rd, evidence room, Sector 3. It's quiet. The investigation must be over here. So this is the evidence room. It really is kind of like a graveyard. Graveyards are supposed to have grass and trees. This feels more like a morgue. Nice try, Mr. Wright. You can't scare me. I know this looks a lot like a fucking morgue, actually. Oh, hi, Gumshoe. Whoa. Sorry, I thought you were a ghost. I wouldn't recommend going around smacking ghosts on the head, pal. So is it true what I heard? Righto, please, do I look like a selfish man? Heck, if anyone asked me, sir, can I borrow $50, I'd give them $50, no problem. So go ahead, investigate that room to your heart's desire. Knock yourself out. Yeah, it's true. So chief of police again. Will loan anyone $50, even me. Oh, so that's what you were talking about. Actually, I was put in charge of the investigation for today. Just for today? Boss for a day. But guess what? You got permission for the chief, so now you're boss for the day. Gee, thanks. First of all, you'll want to have this. Evidence room floor plans. Oh god. Oh god, okay. How much evidence are we gonna get today? Just look at this. We're almost filling up 2 pages. Okay. I love you, Gumshoe. What do you think about this list of ID cards? Are any of them yours? Could you take a look at this? This is the ID card record from the people who came in here on the day of the stabbing. I heard the rumors. So it was Goodman who came in here at the time of the murder. Whoa! What is it? That second number. It's not your ID number, is it, Detective Gumshoe? It's Mr. Edgeworth. What? The second number on this list belongs to Mr. Edgeworth. Chat, I'm gonna go get a piece of paper. Give me 1 second. So, ID card numbers. We know that 58... Yes, I am actually writing this down so I remember. 42189 is Bruce Goodman. And the second number, he said. Not the third. The second number on the list is 87. So 49 is someone else. It's not Edgeworth. Honestly, 49 is the most suspicious, so that bodes well for Edgeworth's innocence, in my opinion, doesn't it? 8730579 is Edgeworth. I'm gonna find this paper in like a month and be real confused. What? ID card updated. Why would Edgeworth have come to the evidence room? Alright. Oh, it updates for me. That I forgot. Very helpful. So, Detective Gumshoe, you're the boss for the day. That's right. It's an honor. After all, the murder took place right here in the police department. But if you're the boss, why are you all alone? Where are your underlings? They're using yesterday's findings to prepare for tomorrow's trial. In other words, you got kicked out of the investigation again. All sevens could be a filler. It could also be like, if I had to guess, it's probably, you know, some sort of blank card that they use to turn the system on and off, maybe. Something like that. It's mysterious, that's for shit sure. I'm adamant, though. I'm gonna take control and put this case to rest. In my own evidence locker, pal. You have a locker in here too, Detective Gumshoe? Of course. I am a detective, after all. They gave me a locker that only I can open, pal. Only you can open. Well, we do have Bruce Goodman's ID card. That we do. I'll always believe in Mr. Edgeworth, no matter what happens. So, Mr. Edgeworth is with the inquiry committee right now, right? They're trying to figure out who's responsible for the mess up in court today. I see. I guess this is what you call fate. Mr. Edgeworth just can't get away from that case. That case? Yeah, that case. The SL9 incident, of course. Oh god, okay, there's more. That was the beginning of the end for Mr. Edgeworth. Maybe we can get him to tell us more about the case. This place is more high-tech than you might think. Every locker is fixed so that only one detective can open it, using their ID card. Well, that's the thing, pal. ID cards can be lost. Why, I'm on my third card since entering the force already. That sounds like a lot. Yeah, but even I can't lose my own right hand. Oh. Right hand? Oh, you mean your fingerprints. Exactly, pal. The lock for each locker is coated with a fingerprint. So the only locker we can open is our own. Funny, they look a lot like normal lockers. These are the latest model. There's a trick to the handles, you see. the handles. On the other side of the handles is a sensor, and if the wrong person touches it, zap, you get a shock. If that's what happened, my hand would be black and smoking every day. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. Only the assigned detective prints can unlock it. Indicator lamp lights up when it's open. That's a good question. Was Meekins' hand cut? Or was it damaged by, like, trying to force it to open a lock? I don't know. We'll have to see. What about... We have a note that proves the SL9 incident is involved here. Detective Goodman's note and that switchblade knife. I bet Edgeworth was the most surprised of anyone. Because of the SL9 connection, that was Mr. Edgeworth's first big case, you know, 2 years ago. That was the first time the world knew that Edgeworth was a man to be feared. But why would evidence from that case turn up now? I guess it's not over, pal. Maybe there are some loose ends left on that case. Now that was a bloody, violent case. Violent? So it was a murder? Oh, that's a retcon. A serial killing. A serial killing. Maybe I don't want to get involved in this after all. But the killer made a mistake, and Edgeworth built his case around that to nab him. And this was 2 years ago? That put Mr. Edgeworth right in the spotlight, and started the rumor mill. Rumors about forged evidence. It was supposed to be all cleared up with the transferal the other day. It was the last job he ever did. Detective Goodman, that is. Huh? What do you mean? Detective Goodman was the detective in charge of the SL9 incident, see? So, the switchblade knife. The victim took the knife out of the evidence locker himself. So, Bruce Goodman took the knife out of the evidence locker himself. That is a retcon, Lamau, indeed. There's something sticking out of here. Look at this locker. There's a white piece of something. Looks like a shirt. I guess it must be evidence for some case. I wonder if Detective Gumshoe put this here. There you go, pal, making me out to be some kind of slob. I'm not responsible for the evidence here. That said, I bet that evidence locker was opened recently. How do you know? If you leave things hanging out like that, the evidence gets dirty or ripped. The guard checks on that kind of stuff and notifies the detective responsible. How many times have I had him breathing down my neck about some silly evidence? Sounds like Detective Gumshoe leaves evidence hanging out a lot, too. I bet he doesn't tuck that shirt under his trench coat, either. If you're gonna talk behind someone's back, don't do it right in front of them, pal. Wow, look at this big pile of junk in the corner. That looks like a car door. There's a pair of handcuffs attached to the frame. Maybe the guy they caught was some sort of escape artist and he got away. Hey, that's one of those human profiles for range testing. He's been shot square in the forehead. Better him than us. True, getting shot in the face is not a fun time, as I've heard. This place is stuffed with evidence, stuffed with dreams. I'm not so sure about the dreams. It won't open. Did you really think it would? Hey, pal, our security is high-tech around here. There's a There's the metal detector and the fishing hook. Some sort of bulky equipment is gathering dust here. What a sorry-looking fishing pole that is. I remember the fishing pole. Ah, that's my personal pole. I never did get around to using it. Wait, I've seen that somewhere before. Right, pal, that's the metal detector. The one that led to solving that case out on Gourd Lake, remember? Oh, right. Wow, that feels like it was ages ago. And, I don't think I've seen this one before. Oh, that's a bug sweeper. I'm sure it'll come in handy solving a case sooner or later. That cheap-looking box. You can't judge a person or a machine by their cover. You gotta look at their heart. Alright, okay. What's this? Blood? It's a little worn, but there's definitely a handprint here. Looks like someone tried to wipe it off. Mr. Wright, what if there are other blood stains left in the room? We should use her testing fluid to check it out. There's open paint. What is this? Saw and red paint doing here? Since the dawn of time, true art has always been a war against oppression. True art? I noticed that there's blue and yellow paint here. Perhaps we're witnessing the birthplace of the Blue Badger. Well, you might say that this is my studio. Here, in the evidence room. Okay. There's red paint up there, though. I think that's sus. Look, this one's open, and the red indicator light above the door is still lit. That locker is coated with Detective Goodman's fingerprint. Detective Goodman's locker? Are you sure it's okay to leave it open like that? Well, it'd be hard to get it open again if we closed it. It's empty. They must have taken the contents elsewhere. That would explain how Gant got a hold of that knife. Wow, someone must have broken something big to make all of these pieces. Detective Gumshoe, perhaps. There you go, pal, making me out to be some kind of hooligan. That's apparently from the case. The case? The SL9 incident, pal. See the sticker on one of the pieces here? Another piece of SL9 evidence. Take a closer look. I wonder what shape these pieces were before it broke. You want to try to put it back together? Yes, please. This is like half of my real-life job. Good luck, pal. That's no job for amateurs. Hey, Gumshoe, maybe Phoenix knows nothing about restoring pottery from sherds, but I can assure you that Pika does. Why, I spent a good 3 hours on that before I had to give up. That's why I always carry around a tube of glue. Well, this piece looks like the bottom. Let's try putting the rest in place. Oh, God, this thing. Okay. There's blood on it. What was it from originally? Something with at least what looks to be 2 handles. I think, judging by the pattern. Let's see. No. Oh, God. No, not that one. That looks like it's part of a lid. Probably. Yeah, see, these both are part of a lid. And neither of them really look like they fit. Because we have the base intact. Third one from the right? I think so, yeah. If we rotate it, rather. Then we might be able to... No. This one, fourth from the right, actually, maybe. Look at this. If it was... It's the one that's jagged enough to potentially be it, from looking at it. Yeah, jagged bit down. There we go. God, I think the problem with this is totally not... What's the word? Scaled. That was not scaled to the size that it actually was supposed to be on the model. That's the confusing bit about this segment. This wouldn't go all the way up to the top, presumably. I don't think this is tall enough to, judging by the size and the angle. I'm thinking this one. Like that. No? Okay. That's... Well, actually. What if it's this way? There we go. That's one. This one. Actually. There we go. It's much easier when you have one piece in place, yeah. Okay. These are all lid chunks, so not these. This could be a bit with a handle. If we go like this, that should go in. Yep. There we go. And now we're starting to get to... What if this goes here? If it's just this side, then maybe... There we go. Okay. I don't think this would be the right place. That's this one. That part of the lid. Might as well reconstruct this, right? It's got blood on it. That's sus. I hate that this is not scaled properly at all. Because that does not look like it's that size at all in the slightest. There we go. It's missing a chunk still. Huh? Well, I think we did it, but some of the pieces are still missing. Yeah, I got that far in 2 minutes myself. The problem is finishing it. Oh, don't. You're very fancy, Gumshoe. I don't feel like those pieces feel like they're the right size for some of those holes, but it's fine. There's still a missing piece. Were some pieces stolen? I bet they were missing to begin with. Still, it doesn't look like the most stable kind of jar. I kind of understand how it got broken. I think it's unstable because, well, a couple of things. For one thing, it probably needs some portion that needs to, you know, if it's built like something that needs to sit on a stand, then it might literally need a stand. Well, anyway, we got to do some fun pottery reconstruction there. It's an amphora, yeah. They stack, but also it's the matter of, with one with that small of a bottom, it does have a bottom. Like, it has a solid, flat bottom. It's not rounded off or torpedo-shaped in a way that you'd need to put it on some sort of stand. So, I mean, it's not that unstable. It's a little top-heavy, maybe, but that's kind of part of the design. Put these pieces together, it makes a jar. There are two things that bother me. One, why are some of the pieces missing? Two, doesn't it seem a little unstable? No wonder it broke. I'll make sure to remember that the next time I make a jar. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney is very anti-amphora, I guess. Someone left a glove here, but only one. Detective Gumshoe, maybe? There you go, pal, making me out to be some kind of absent-minded detective. That's evidence from the case, you know. You mean SL9. It does have a tag on it. Extremely thin rubber glove. Okay, we've got an incomplete amphora. We have a glove. Phoenix Wright therapeutic pottery classes. Where we judge certain pottery forms and be like, I don't know, amphora don't look that stable to me. Is there anything we're missing over here? Can I start looking at my evidence? I think it's luminoling time. Wasn't there supposed to be something around here? Let's see. Phoenix and Edgy competing to throw the best pots. Larry teaches the class. It feels like something Larry would be doing. I mean, he did sculpt the murder weapon in multiple cases here. Okay, so that handprint is actually blood. Then, because it reacted with the luminol. I knew it! This is someone's right handprint. What? What's the matter, detective? This locker. It's mine. It's yours? Please. You have to help me when they come to take me away. Promise you'll testify that I wouldn't harm a fly. Dude, you would never hurt a fly. You'll do that for me, won't you, pals? This is an important clue. I'll jot it down on the floor plans. I'm counting on you guys. Believe me, you can't trust the police. Excuse me, you work for them. What? You work for the police, Gumshoe. What? But you're a detective. That's very suspicious, Gumshoe. Oh, there's blood down here. That must have been one massive pool of blood. Never seen anything like it. I'm not a professional. What's your opinion, detective? We're defending Gumshoe when and if he's accused of a crime, right? Why would we not? Gumshoe is baby and needs to be protected. Pale blue blood. Maybe Detective Goodman was actually an alien. Alright, that's not very helpful. This proves that something really happened in front of this locker. I'll make a note of it on the floor plans. Hey, if you didn't want my opinion, you shouldn't have asked. What else do we need to luminol here? Not the glove. I'm gonna spray this weird one a lot. Ah, there it is. am I getting a reaction here? There is no reason for the murderer to touch this spot if he fled out the door. This just might be something significant. Hey, that's some pretty amazing stuff you got there, pal. What, this? It's called luminol testing fluid. How did you get to be a detective without knowing what this is, Gumshoe? Where'd you get your hands on that? Huh? I'd like to get some too. I'll just borrow $50 from the chief. Where did you get this, Emma? I always buy it by mail order. Well, I'd better jot this down on the floor plans. Hey, pal, look at the time. Was there something you needed to be going to? It's just that Mr. Edgeworth's inquiry committee should be letting out soon. I'm gonna go give them my report for the day. Might help, you know. Report? You mean the note written on the back of that flyer? Also, yes, that flyer. You see that character there. They'll be here again. The ones that says nothing but no problems? Hey, it's Mr. Edgeworth we're talking about. I'm sure he can use a report like this. I believe in him. Who needs enemies when you've got friends like Detective Gumshoe? I'm off, pal. Later. How does Edgeworth get anything done? Should probably see what Edgeworth has to say, too. Yeah, is he okay right now? Parking lot. Actually, would you know anything about the ID card numbers? Also, I kind of want to look at some of these things. Hey, look! They're hard to make out, but there are some dark red stains here. Looks like blood. Do you think Detective Goodman's blood somehow got on this when he was stabbed? Not likely. This blood looks like it's been here for months, maybe longer. This jar was evidence in the SL9 incident. That might be when the blood got on it. The tag says SL-911. I guess this is another piece of evidence from that case. You know, I never did care for the word tag. It's confusing. Huh? What's so confusing about that? Do you know how many other words sound like it? Bag, gag, nag, lag, zag. Zag? Is that a word? Do you challenge me? What, are we playing a word game now? I'm not used to the controls for this still. Alright. Wait, you can zoom in on this thing? I want to zoom in. Okay, I've satisfied my curiosity. Crag. Stag? You know? Brag. Lag, in the case of the stream sometimes. Alright. Let's go see if Edgy is okay. February 23rd. Hi, Prosecutor's Office, room 1202. Oh. Why are you here? Why are you here? Ah, guests, my apologies. Oh, it's you. Have we met somewhere? Huh? Mr. Edgeworth, I beg your leave. So long. Is Edgeworth here? There, standing by the window, a teacup in his hand. Right. He has the hotel bringing him tea service. Sir, you have tea service. Mr. Edgeworth, you're back from the district prosecutor office's inquiry? I am. by the way, Detective Gumshoe was looking for you. Ah, yes. He brought me the latest information, it seems. Really? Was it helpful? Apparently, a new French restaurant is opening near here. I think he was trying to console me somehow. Oh, why is that so much cuter than it should have been? Instead of seeing it as a terrible evidence report, Edgeworth's just like, oh, Gumshoe was worried about me, so he brought me a flyer for a restaurant I might like. We're entirely here because we care about you. We're very worried about you, Edgeworth. Hello, Ed. We're checking in with Best Boy over here to see if he's doing okay. The real info is on the other side, Edgeworth. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. I think this whole thing is really taking a toll on him. Emma, you have no idea. You have no idea. Oh, fuck. Can we allow Gumshoe into the ship? I don't know. I usually think as Gumshoe and Edgeworth being a bit more platonic on my end. Though you have not seen all of the games so far. Gumshoe may or may not have a redacted love interest at some point. You know, we'll get there eventually. Ooh, spicy. Yes, very spicy. I mean, it's like the least spicy possible ship. It's very cute, but no. So, how did the inquiry committee go? Actually, they decided to not treat this as a case of concealing evidence, but as a communications error during the investigation. Okay, so Edgeworth is okay. That's good. Concealing evidence? Yes. Apparently, there are some who believe that I concealed evidence. They gave me a warning. You were lucky this time. Again. Again? I've heard them say that so many times. Ever since that case 2 years ago. Are you okay for the trial tomorrow? Well, I'm still the presiding prosecuting attorney, however. Something happened? They gave control of the investigation over to the police department. That all seems like a setup. I think that Gant specifically set Edgeworth up so that he could be in control of all of this. This is sus as hell. Yeah, the fewer problems Edgeworth has, the better, please. Please just leave the poor man alone. He's been through enough already. The police department? Yes. Any further investigation for this case will be directed by the Chief of Police, Gant. The demon gentleman strikes again! I can do nothing but wait for his results. I see. Why? I ask you why. All along, I've only done what I believe is right. I have nothing to be ashamed of. But still. Wow. I've never seen him this out of sorts. I wish there was a hug button or a console button or any way I could comfort him right now. Alright. I'm sorry, Edgy. Can you look at some things for me? We'll involve you in our investigation. Will that make you a little happier? Oh, right. I'd better check this now. As I was saying, What is this? A record of ID card usage. Edgeworth, you went into the evidence room that day, didn't you? Just before the incident occurred, no less. Yes, that's true. Why, Mr. Edgeworth? Please don't look at me like that. I was asked to go. By Chief Gant, no less. I want to punch this man. I want to punch him so bad, chat. I hate Gant. Oh, God. The chief of police? He wanted evidence for a case that was wrapped up half a year ago. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. But it was solved, right? It would have to be if the evidence was already filed. Here's the interesting thing about this mess. So, whoever 498 is, they went in 10 minutes after Edgeworth did. And then they entered right as Bruce Goodman did, or their card did, anyway. The chief is never one to explain himself. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. Can I ask what kind of case it was? I can't say. It really has nothing to do with the current case, does it? Does it? Now I'm curious about this other case. I better make a note of it. How many cases are we solving today, Edgeworth? Is it 3? Evidence from a past case of Edgeworth's brought back to his office by Gant's request. That's a different number than the last one. Stubborn as always, I told you this has nothing to do with the current case. I want to look at it anyway. That's a different number. The tag says AI16. What's that got to do with anything? Nothing, apparently. At least that's what Edgeworth said. That makes it seem all the more suspicious. Who knows? This might turn out to be a clue that breaks the case. Wouldn't that be nice? With the fact that you're joking about that, that makes me actually think it might be. I mean, it's a screwdriver. So you want to talk about the, SL9 case, Edgeworth? I know you. You've probably got a hold of some information already, right? It all has to do with that case you were on, the SL9 incident, and some dark suspicion you were wrapped up in. You are the man who revived the worst memory of my life. I figured I'd be telling you about this sooner or later. He must be talking about his father's murder in that elevator. Okay, Edgeworth. Why don't you tell me about it? Tell me the truth. I mean, it's not like it's gonna leave this room, Edgy. I mean, chat's not gonna judge you. The SL9 incident was a heinous serial killing case. The head of the investigation was the deputy chief of police at the time, Damon Gant. That wacky old coot was involved in the case 2 years ago too, then. He was a top officer, and it was my first time working with him. I was nervous. Wow, you get nervous too, Mr. Edgeworth? I mean, Edgy is a human being with emotions. He can get nervous. What I want to know is why I was a deputy chief of police on that investigation. In truth, I used slightly more extreme methods than normal. We were dealing with a vicious murderer. If I let him go, the blood would be on my hands. We won our guilty verdict and the killer was executed. Wait, you didn't. Of course not. I didn't touch the evidence. Yes, I will do anything in my power to win a trial. However, I do have a code, and I follow it faithfully. Yet we know that you're not Von Karma. By the way, Emma, the chief prosecutor wanted to know something. My sister? What? If you were still studying forensic science? Huh? Yes. Of course. Yeah, this is the reason we respect Edgeworth. Edgeworth is a respectable prosecutor. Yes, he will sometimes use underhanded methods to get his point across, but the man does not forge evidence. He can be a bit of a brat, but that's just kind of how he be. Why, just today, Mr. Wright and I were using this. Luminol testing fluid, Well then, you might have use for this. Aluminum powder for taking fingerprints. Edgeworth is the gift that keeps on giving today. Thank you, we have some very suspicious handprints to look at, Edgeworth. It's been chemically treated for better adhesion. For me? Are you sure? We are the enemy, you know. I've no say in today's investigation. Do as you will. Is Edgeworth doing this out of spite? Please tell me he's doing this out of spite. Edgeworth, no need to thank me. Here, take your powder and those fingerprint files for everyone involved. Thanks. How about giving these to Detective Gumshoe as well? No, he's gonna give it to the teenager and his boyfriend. Recovers fingerprints from handprints for comparison with a fingerprint file. Definitely spite. Absolutely spite. Well, let's get going. One last investigation. Right. I do seem to remember seeing a suspicious handprint somewhere. It was in the evidence room. Thank you, Edgeworth. You're a good boy. You're very helpful. Your assistance is appreciated. I like that we can look closer at the freaking tool we're using to get more evidence. All right. Well, let's head on out. Thanks, Edgy. I'll see you soon, buddy. Your assistance is greatly appreciated. It's like so nice to have a prosecutor who's chill, you know? I'm gonna miss that once we start getting into Redacted. Oh, Marshall's gone. That's strange. Evidence room, Sector 3. Our investigation turned up a suspicious handprint. Here, in this blood on the detective's evidence locker. Let's use the secret weapon we just borrowed. The little duster is rather adorable. Right, let's get started. First, choose a finger. A finger. Each finger leaves behind a slightly different imprint. So let's choose the finger that will have left behind the clearest print. The thumb. Really can't tell a difference at the glance. Does the other handprint also give fingerprints? I'd be more curious about that one, to be honest. Quit procrastinating and choose a finger. Okay, now it's time to check for prints. Let me show you how it's done. Emma's starting to get that sparkle in her eyes. First, we sprinkle aluminum powder around. Huh? How do you do that? With Enter, C. Ah. It looks like that did the trick. There is an extra smudge under the fingerprint. The aluminum powder adheres completely to the print. Once the powder is well spread, I just blow away the excess. Huh? How do I do that? With E. Exciting, I know. I like how they changed that from this was originally on the Nintendo DS, so back in the DS era of this version of the game, you had to blow into the microphone on your DS to get it to work. Fortunately, you do not have to deal with the sound of me blowing directly into a microphone today. Imagine you're blowing out the candles on a birthday cake. Wow, that looks like fun. Might take some getting used to, though. It's fine. It won't go up your nose or anything. You just pour the powder on thick and blow away extra. Those are the basics of fingerprinting, Mr. Wright. Guess I'd better give it a try. Dust it up. Also, we haven't talked to Lana, like, all day. Okay, I'm starting to see a fingerprint. It reminds you of Takeshi's challenge, where you had to use the microphone on the second controller, the one and only use for that microphone. Yeah, that sounds about right. I remember seeing a video on that game a long time ago. Aha! You did it! You found one! But this looks nothing like a fingerprint. Now that you mention it, I guess it doesn't. What does it mean? I think it means we're out of luck. Out of luck. The person who left this handprint must have worn gloves. So whoever left this particular bloody fingerprint was wearing gloves. At least on one hand. Intriguing. That's smudged though, indeed. Don't tell me we've been wasting our time here. Hey, calm down. That's just the way it goes sometimes with scientific investigations. But it does seem like a shame. While we're at it, why don't we look for other prints? Other prints? Looking at the locker door again closely, there is a smudge. It seems like there are fingerprints outside of the bloody handprint as well. Let's see if we can find a clear print. Fingerprints outside of the blood. Like this one. So here's the thing. If they were only wearing one glove, say they took one of the gloves from the SL9 incident, yeah, that'd be rather different, wouldn't it? This is weird to do without a stylus. That's a fingerprint. I mean, I'll dust the edges more since the game seems to want that. Yes, I'll get it clean. Don't turn my sticky keys on, though. And the other handprint is sus. That do be a print. Yay! A print so clear that it's dazzling. Dazzling. Anyway, this print took a lot of effort to find. Let's match it up right away. So we're not done yet? This is quite a process. Well, there's no point in finding a fingerprint and not knowing who the owner is, right? I guess she's right. Look at the fingerprint data we got from Mr. Edgeworth and point out the person you think left these prints. Huh? How am I supposed to know who it was? I could make a pretty good guess. The bloody handprint and the fingerprints are in different places, right? That means that the prints probably don't have anything to do with our case. So whose fingerprints would be most likely to be found on this evidence locker? Looks like gumshoes. Aha! So these prints belong to Detective Gumshoe. Something wrong, Mr. Wright? You gave me this so what look. I guess that's probably because I was thinking, so what? Okay, so we came up with nothing this time, but there's always next time. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. You gotta roll with the punches, Mr. Wright. Thanks for the sympathy. It is his evidence locker. Wait, if I remember correctly, there was one other handprint in this room. Let's check it out. Whose handprint is it? This is where we got a luminol fluid reaction, right? Right. There was a handprint here. Okay, want to try using this? There go her eyes sparkling again. Check for prints. Okay, let's check for prints. That's the spirit. Oh, but I have to warn you about something first. What? The area with the blood was wiped away, right? We only ended up finding it using chemical means. Any prints in that area will have been wiped away too. Oh, right. So that means no prints? Would you say the probability of your hypothesis is high? Don't ask me. Anyway, we must try to find the prints that weren't wiped away. Prints other than the ones left by the bloody hand. So, what about, like, here? Maybe this one didn't get wiped away. Maybe they were also wearing gloves. We'll see, I guess. Sorry for the clicking sounds as I lay on the aluminum powder. Oh, there's a fingerprint, all right. No one in fiction ever wears gloves unless they're suspicious. Well, it generally means you have something to hide. I do find it hilarious that none of the detectives in Persona 4 wear gloves. Like, they're investigating a serial murder case and neither of them wear gloves. Come on. How is that not good enough? Is it down by here that's not good enough? The edges, I assume. Thick layer of aluminum. There. Well, this is unfortunately not Gantz. Or Angels. Or Emma's. Or Lana Skies. Or Gumshoes. Or Bruce Goodman's. In fact, it looks a lot like Jake Marshall's. Hey, these fingerprints, Whose are they? Whose? Is it someone I know? Oh Christ, is it someone that you know? If it's Officer Marshall. Huh? Officer Jake Marshall. Marshall's fingerprints found on a bloody handprint in the evidence room. The print had been wiped. That's gotta be a coincidence. He's not involved in the crime. Emma, this is a decidedly different print from Detective Dumbshoe. The luminol reaction. The blood and fingerprints are in the same place. Oh! So we have Jake Marshall's fingerprints on a wiped bloodstain. Why would you say this right outside of his office? Listen, you saw what Phoenix did last case. He got himself tased. But why would Officer Marshall? It looks like our investigation is finally turning up some results. I guess this is what you'd call decisive evidence. I don't believe it. Oh. Alright, we'll start at least the opening of Trial Day 2, but then I think we're gonna stop for tonight. We're not gonna get too far into Trial Day 2. Very suspicious, though. So what do you think, Mr. Wright? I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. After all, The victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time. And a different suspect was arrested at each of the crime scenes. Lana? Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed. I hope they didn't hold you too long for questioning. We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though. So, how'd it go? It's all as Mr. Wright suspects. The police are clueless. I figured as much, so I struck a plea bargain. A plea bargain? What do you mean by that? We agreed that if I told them the truth behind this simultaneous murder, they wouldn't seek capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma. Did they just use sleep deprivation on her? Yeah, it seems that way. Really does seem that way. But Lana, don't tell me you... Much to my regret, I am as much in the dark about this as they are. Miss Skye. We found trace evidence of a certain person in the police department's evidence room. They belong to Officer Jake Marshall. What kind of trace evidence? Blood-stained fingerprints, to be exact. That's the trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you? In order to defend my sister, you're going to accuse Mr. Marshall. We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Skye? Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright. February 24th, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. So dramatic, the text it was written in is red. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is... I'm afraid you'll have to clarify. It takes 30 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet the victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain in both places at the same time. But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I heard the victim from the evidence room just disappeared. Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Wow, this is one messed up trial. One of my duties as prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself. Now that's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things, even though he doesn't know what's going on himself. Emma, none of us have any idea what's happening right now. And that's supposed to be an admirable trait? Very well, let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand. For its first witness, the prosecution calls the suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department. The suspect? You mean the so-called murderer? Yeah, we got 2 of those, too. Whoo, boy. Things are getting wild from the get-go. Will the witness please state his name and occupation? Yes, sir. I am Officer Mike Meakin, sir. My occupation is, that would be murderer, sir. So you're telling us you are a professional killer? Sir, it was me, sir. I'm the one who did it. I'll never kill anyone again, sir. You've got to believe me, sir. Oh, actually, what we'd like to hear from you is, sir, I'm from what you call part of the younger generation, sir. A person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend. You're 22. You're an adult, and I'm an adult too. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Help me, sir. Officer Meekins. Yes, sir. Give us your report of the crime. Consider that an order. Yes, sir, as you wish. After all, I am part of the generation that must be told what to do, sir. You can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm. Alright. Crime report, sir. Alright, we're gonna do our usual right now and make a save. Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life. Then I did it. After that, I passed out until another officer snapped me awake. Why was it not his normal duty? What is he here for? So the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you. Do unto others before they do unto you. That's the Meekins family motto, sir. I see. Then you fainted and a colleague helped you regain consciousness? Yes, sir. He knocked me upside the head, sir. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. What I need here is more info to work with. This is a mess, Meekins. Is 498 his number or is he not logged? That's the question. And then who is 77777? Why were you assigned there? Mr. Meekins, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not? Yes, sir. I am in charge of hiring new recruits, sir. Yikes. Now there's a scary thought. Evidence transferal was taking place on the day of the crime, which meant that many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed. I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir. Fucking Blue Badger. Oh, God. The Blue Badger. Yes, sir. The lovely police mascot created by the Chief of Detectives, sir. I was to ensure it wasn't broken during the transferal process. That was my sole mission for the day, sir. So then it would make a lot of sense if Meekins was 498, actually. Maybe. After the award ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around that I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence room. Tell us, what did you see when you got there? Okay, So, hold on. Then he lied, because 498 is on it twice. Yeah, he must have... If he came in using an ID card, then he has to be 498. And that means that he must have been in there before. And then there's 7777777, which is a disaster. In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card, am I correct? Precisely, sir. I have one here around my neck. So then, your ID card number should be listed on here, right? There it is! I found it! It's the one right there! Could you please read us the number?
Yes, sir. It's 4989596. That's my number, sir.
It's like they'd wanted to make it 66666 and added ones to that. Yeah, just go along with the whole demon thing. 4989596 is Meekins. Hi, Meekins. Welcome to my notes for today. Alright. I see. Huh? But the number 4989596 is shown as being used twice. Please explain, witness.
It's no real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room, and the second time is when I went to go get him after everything settled down.
I see. So it was during that second time when...
Yes, sir. That was when I spotted the man on the security screen.
Alright. We still don't know who Seven is, but we have our suspicions about Seven. Okay. We're getting somewhere now. We are getting somewhere. Let's see. You're only doing what you were trained to do. You were suddenly attacked. How? So you were attacked. Could you please tell us exactly what happened to you?
It was a knife, sir. A knife.
Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you. What happened then?
Well, with me charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised as I was.
You aren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into.
That is when I reacted, sir. I swung my arms like an octopus, struggling to detain him.
I don't know if you're cut out for this job, Meekins.
That's how I got this gash on my hand.
Maybe if you just kept your cool, your hand wouldn't be...
When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar.
Okay. You fought for your life. What exactly do you mean when you say you did it?
I know I don't look like the type, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir. The man let his guard down for just an instant, so I snatched his knife from him.
So you flailed like an octopus, and then when you got cut, you were suddenly a kung fu master. Yeah, okay, Meekins. Meekins has a traffic cop kind of feel, good for tickets and directing people around accidents. Definitely not a homicide division or guard duty guy, no, really not. You took his knife.
I spun him around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man.
I see. He must have been desperate.
The next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of my blood, and then the next thing I knew...
Yes?
He punched me right in my face, sir.
He punched you in your face? I don't even know where to start presenting things. I'm just having a field day pressing. After that, you passed out until another officer smacked you awake. Which officer? We don't have Goodman's fingerprints anywhere near the crime scene. In fact, we have Goodman's ID card lying on the floor of the prosecutor's office for some fucking reason. Also, fun fact, and I will remind you of this, of the impossible timeline of this case, we do have a ticket stub for when Edgeworth's car arrived in the prosecutor's office parking lot, which was 5:12. And we know from Edgeworth that there's 30 minutes between police department and prosecutor's office. Meaning that it is physically impossible, well, for one thing, it would have happened after. It's impossible that if someone was murdered at 5:15 in the evidence room, they would have ended up in Prosecutor Edgeworth's car when he drove it over. It's just not possible. The timing is impossible. About what time did you regain consciousness?
No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious.
Oh, right. According to the report from the officer that woke up the witness, it was about 5:30.
He hit me right in the head, too. I woke up crying tears of pain.
That's nice. It's nice that you recovered, that is.
When I came around, though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir.
Your mission?
Yes, sir. The Blue Badger, sir. I returned him to the entrance before things got out of hand.
Well, we can all rest easy now. I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened. Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? He's got a point. Yes, Officer Meekins.
With regards to that, sir, take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. Chief Gant delivered it to me just this morning, sir.
The chief delivered it. What is that? A videotape. The chief. Yeah, it's worth asking. The chief. The chief. Everything is him. It's all him.
Yes, sir, that's absolutely right, sir. Videotape, sir. It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room.
What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape, and was told that it had been mistakenly erased. That's quite a mistake.
I just do what I'm told, sir. It's the only thing I'm really good at.
Looks like the communication with the police department is as good as ever. Well then, let's have a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim.
Oh, please stop using that word. Murder, sir. It scares me.
A video of a real murder. Just, what are we getting ourselves into now? That doesn't look like Goodman, does it? Oh, well, no, he has the fingerprints. I guess it is Goodman. Yeah, full motion video in an Ace Attorney game. Oh shit, he really did stab him. Oh hey! There's that bloody coat from that crime scene photo with Lana, isn't it? Don't you think? The one with the blood on the sleeve. Meekins? Doesn't seem like a murder. Well, I believe we're all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred from within us? Man, Judge, that is a fucking mood and a half right there. Meekins wears the body. I only see his body. I see Detective Goodman stabbing him. What the hell was that wriggling piece of plywood?
Sir, that is the pride and joy of the entire Criminal Affairs Department, sir. It's the Blue Badger, sir.
Why am I not surprised that this isn't going smoothly? Security video from the security camera placed in the evidence room. Yes, well, anyway, this tape seems to prove the witness did indeed encounter, someone in the evidence room, and that some sort of, activity did take place. Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage. The witness's testimony will suffice. Is that all right with you, Officer Meekins?
Yes, sir. As you wish, sir.
Mystery man. Oh god, okay. Here we go. No, but it has to be Goodman because he opened the locker. Either that, or someone literally, pardon my language, how do I put this delicately? Removed Goodman's hand and used it for their own purposes, which was not noted in the autopsy report, so that seems unlikely.
His face can't clearly be seen in the video, but there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do. He opened his unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it.
What is this about a fingerprint? Each detective has been given a locker equipped with a fingerprint-activated lock. You question the timeline of all of this. I think the most suspicious part is that this video was given to us by Gant. Oh, I just fucking saw it. You see what I just saw? There is a problem here. Anyone could have opened that door. You'll notice that each of these has an activator light above it when they're open. Goodman's locker was open at the start of the video. You missed it? Okay, hold on. I'll show you again. Look at the beginning. It's gonna pan right as whoever is pretending to be Goodman enters the room. The light is already on. The door is already unlocked. Also, this guy really doesn't look like Goodman to me. They're taller, more, I don't know, curvy. A little bit curvier. You see what I mean? The door had to already be unlocked. And something fell out of it before our friend Goodman. Meekins enters, who has never seen Goodman before in his life, so he wouldn't know the difference between Goodman and anyone else. And whoever this is, just straight up attacks Meekins. It swings back to the left again. It's still 17:15 at this point. And when we look here, we can see that whoever was there is gone. It's just Meekins now. The door has been left swung open. We don't actually see them exit. So I think the key thing here is that the door was already unlocked. Taller and curvier. Couldn't be our Texas friend then. I mean, I don't think. I don't know, how thick is Jake, I guess? Not really. It seems unlikely, anyway. We'll see. These locks ensure that each locker can be opened by the detective it belongs to. Also, I can't, say more than that. I'm just giving my, impressions, quote-unquote, not trying to spoil anything. Intriguing. That would mean the victim at the crime scene would have had to be Detective Goodman. It wouldn't. It was open. It was open beforehand. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. I don't know where this cross-examination will lead, but everything begins with contradictions. Couldn't be the lunch lady unless the timing is all falsified. There's no question the other person was Detective Goodman. He opened the locker. The locker opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, so it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it. Are you sure about that? However, the most important detail is not shown in this video. The man's face. Sir, if I may say something, sir. Please do. After all, you are the one being examined. I don't understand why the man's face is so important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint lock. And it was his hand that tried to thrust a knife into my body, sir. My unsettled state can testify to this, sir. Yes, you have a point. The footage doesn't lie. That is, unless the defense can find some problem with it. I already saw it, Edgeworth. Mr. Wright, let's check the court record again. Is there a problem with the security video? You better fucking believe. Regarding the video contained in this tape, there is one thing in particular that seems rather strange. Strange. This contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may not have been Detective Goodman. What? This video contains such a contradiction. Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth. I propose we have the defense point out to us this alleged contradiction in the video. He would want me to point it out. Of course he would. Very well. Proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence. I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us this contradiction you speak of. I have to point out a problem in the video. Let me save, because I'm not sure how I'm going to control this segment. This is the first time I've ever had to do that. You can do it, Mr. Wright. It's set up so that you can fast forward, rewind, or pause the video. Just take a good look and be sure to point out the right thing. Please don't pay it too many times. I just can't stand watching this video. How did this guy ever become a police officer? Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where is the contradiction that indicates the man may not be Detective Goodman? Right there. The light is on above the evidence locker. The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. Officer Meekins. Sir, do you mean me, sir? As I understand it, the locker apparatus works like this. When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint. If it's a match, you just realized that Gummy Bear would be a good nickname for Gumshoe. It really would, wouldn't it? Oh, actually, I was joking about Gumshoe having a romantic interest of sorts. Take a look on the inside of Gumshoe's locker. There is a photo of someone pinned up to the door, actually. The light turns on and the lock is released. I didn't notice that before, because that character doesn't show up in this game. According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir. If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. It's lit up before whoever this is walks in. When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker, let's rewind to a little earlier. All right, Phoenix, take your time. Here, notice the light? What's this? It's already lit. Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already opened before the victim grabbed the handle. Ah! Do these people have a reverse play button rather than rewind? Apparently. Order, order. What's the meaning of this? It's very simple, Your Honor. Yes, we get the cornered music. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime. But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When a door is shut, a sensor is triggered, and the lock is automatically locked. Oh, I know, it must have broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this. That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction. We actually do have evidence that something was stuck in the door. Remember, we saw at the front locker that there's something sticking out. And when Detective Goodman opens the door here, something falls out of the locker. Oh, well, it just goes to show that novices should keep their mouths shut. So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation? I'm gonna save, but I think I do. Me, Your Honor. Yes. Why wasn't the locker locked? Me, Your Honor. Yes, well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator? Huh? Oh, maybe something like jammed the system sensor. Something jammed the sensor. Say, there's something else in that seems out of place in this video. Yeah, I thought so too. There's got to be another clue somewhere in this footage. Very well. Let's inspect the video once more. The locker wasn't locked. Mr. Wright, please point out the cause of this. Can I pause real quick? I think you need to fast forward until it falls out. So wait for it to go over to when Goodman is at the locker. There. Nope, nope. There we go. Now I can see it all on screen. Present. Please watch closely. This is the continuation of the part 1 I showed you earlier. That motherfucking glove. Oh yeah, it is. Something fell out and it's a glove. God, it's wild to see the first game have so much full motion video in it in this case. What's this? Something which fell out of the white fell out of the locker.
But sir, it's been my experience that things fall out of when doors are opened. I often fall out and roll great distances when I roll my own car door.
We can't be sure that item was completely inside the locker to begin with. What do you mean? The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door? Inserted? This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor.
Oh, I understand now, sir. Just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times it gets stuck in the door when I get out of my patrol vehicle, sir. Instead of the door closing, the tie chokes me.
But the object would have to be extremely thin to fit in the door. Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. Yes, just like a rubber glove. Imagine that, Edgeworth. It would need to be an insulator. Yes, an insulator, but at the crime scene. There just might have been something that fits the description.
But sir, by insulator you don't mean...
I think I've got this figured out. Very well. Will the defense please present the relevant evidence? I will. What was this insulator that was stuck in the locker door? It was a rubber glove. Yeet the glove. Just take it, fling it at the judge. I found this near the locker. A thin rubber glove. Convinced that Edge A is just throwing us slow pitches because he wants Phoenix to keep going. But we can't be sure that was the victim's locker. It has a tag that says SL9 incident. The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker. But that isn't the case. The lamp attests to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is this not so, Officer Meekins?
Sir, it would appear so, sir.
Order. Order, order. So are we to believe, then, that the victim, whom this witness stabbed in the evidence room, was not Detective Goodman? Do not be misled, Your Honor. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? The defense has merely demonstrated the possibility, nothing more. The victim in the video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this. What? Officer Meekins, please testify about this.
Sir, me, sir? I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir. Oh, you mean that, sir? Of course, sir.
Is this a joke? Very well, begin your testimony. This feels like a joke. Mystery Man 2.
There's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, one must use an ID card. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card.
An ID card record. I see. I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. The ID used at 5:14 is that of the victim. Just before the crime, Yes, it is without a doubt the victim's ID. This is the same logic as, yes, the steel samurai suit must be worn by Will Powers, because no one else could possibly do it, chat. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. Why were there so few people using this room? This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases. Special cases? Extremely violent cases involving police staff. Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end. Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference. There were only a few cases up for transferal there, and most were cleaned up by noon. Right, I see. Now let us move on to the cross-examination. Well, we know that Edgeworth very well could have left then. The real question is where Bruce Goodman actually died, in my opinion. Because if Bruce Goodman was found in Edgeworth's car, right? Then he must have died earlier. We know that he died sometime between 4 and 5:30-ish. He must have died somewhere else and been put in Edgeworth's trunk. That is the only explanation here. Which means, rather disturbingly, by that logic, there was a dead body in Edgeworth's car the entire ride over to the prosecutor's office. Poor guy. There's one other thing that proves it was Detective Goodman. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. Okay, let's talk about that. Let it be noted that this is the record the witness referred to.
Let me see. Yes, that would be it. Detective Goodman.
What's the matter?
According to this, Mr. Edgeworth, your name is on here.
So it is, Your Honor. Not that prosecutor again. Hey, maybe he's behind all this. Being a prosecutor, he could hide the evidence. Mommy, is that man in blue a murderer? Shh, don't stare at him. You've got the wrong color, kid.
It would seem the inquiry committee will want to speak with you again today.
God damn it, leave him alone.
I have nothing to be ashamed of regarding my actions or their consequences. For now, let us continue with the cross-examination.
Fight the audience, please. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. It must be so difficult for him. Earlier, I believe you testified when you asked the man to show his ID card. He pulled a knife on you.
Yes, sir. He didn't show me any ID card, sir.
Don't you think that's odd? I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was show it to you. There wouldn't be any reason to draw a knife.
Maybe he just panicked.
Everything stems from contradictions, so let's point them out. Mr. Wright, what do you think?
I'm confused.
What?
The problem with this ID card testimony is far too obvious.
It's not like Edgeworth to miss something like this. You're thinking too hard about it. Come on, let's show them what we've got. I mean, I guess we gotta present the ID card, right? Music stopped. Wait one more moment, Officer Meekins.
I am not good at waiting, sir.
I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene.
That makes sense.
When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. Do I? Oh, it's the thing you lost. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card.
A lost item report. It's only half completed.
But it shows that Detective Goodman has lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report.
Let me guess. You believe this something to be his ID card.
So now also, if we're putting together everything we've seen in the video, it actually would implicate Lana as not a murderer, but as the person who potentially stabbed our friend here. Think about it this way. Lana goes to the evidence room for some reason, wearing this outfit, with the coat with the blood on it. That coat is the one from the video. So, Lana goes there, she's not Officer Goodman. She knows that Officer Goodman's ID card has his photo on it, so she freaks out and attacks Officer Meekins, which gets blood on her that's his, and then when Meekins attacks her, that's when she cut her hand. It's possible. I don't know, I'm just suggesting that out of the blue. From what we have now. I can't say for sure, but there is a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card. Actually, that would explain something.
if we're going by the logic that Goodman did try to get his card back, then the lost item report having the wrong number would make more sense. Though it is written weirdly, I'm still not over that. Unless someone else wrote the SL9 incident note, which is just another fucking can of worms then. Order, order. So now, what does this all mean? Yeah, that timing is still off then. It can only mean one thing. It doesn't even require much thought. The man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card. Order. Order, order. Does the prosecution have a response? I have only one thing to say to the defense. Bravo, Mr. Wright. Bravo. Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room as Officer Meekins encountered was not Detective Goodman. There are two grounds to support this. Maybe the SL9 note was left for Goodman from someone else. Maybe. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yes. What is he up to? Oh, y'all know he's up to something. He's being a bastard about this. That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. That is... Well, I guess that's right. Oh, he made us make his case for Lana for him. Yup. Edgeworth is being a little bastard today. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago you seemed content to be pointing your finger around. This isn't going to end well. Well, well, it seems you've finally realized. Oh, I've realized, but we've got a fucking mess on our hands. Exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove. Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth. The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means the murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime. So the real crime could only take place at one location, the underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. The murderer being Miss Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness observed the moment the defendant used the murder weapon. I don't know how trustworthy I'd call Angel Star, but okay. She did lie. What? Ah. I knew that testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning. The activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered? And where did this person disappear to? However, this trial's purpose is only to examine the murder of Detective Goodman. Just so, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you have to do something, or else Lana... What do I do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this mess? Well, I'm very sorry, Jake, but we're gonna have to ask you to come in. One moment, Your Honor. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven. Of course not. But I almost walked right into the prosecution's trap. What are you talking about? This cross-examination has proven one thing, and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder. Yes, okay, we know. They should really just get stationary cameras at multiple angles. However, it cannot be said that it is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Specifically, large amounts of blood chases were found in the evidence room. The defense demands further examination into the truth of the matter. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. If this court were to examine this further, other witnesses would be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared? I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident. This just might be my chance. Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand. Mr. Wright, do you mean? Your Honor, the defense would like to request a specific witness. Oh, whom do you have in mind? Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room. The prosecution requests to hear this person's name before deciding whether or not to comply. Very well then, Mr. Wright. This person whom you would have testify. What is his or her name? It's Marshall. It's gotta be Marshall. He's involved in at least this part of the case. Officer Jake Marshall. Why him? I can't let Edgeworth know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel we should hear what he has to say. The prosecution agrees to the defense's request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare. Very well. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is subpoenaed. Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time? We will, Your Honor. Court is now in recess. Yeah, something's up with Marshall. She does not look happy that I called him. Listen, if you're protecting him, bad fucking news. Your life is more important to me right now. February 24th, 11:32 a.m., District Court Defendant Lobby Number 2. That is a quick subpoena. Welcome to Ace Attorney. The trials only take 3 days. There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright? Huh? What do you mean? You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you figured everything out. I haven't figured anything out. Lana? You're the one who knows everything. Emma. You always know everything, so why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you. I don't recall ever asking for his protection. How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me? I hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You've got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run all around while on duty, and to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Sorry, Detective. You better be, pal. Hey, 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 hey. I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Sky. That's okay. So, have you brought what I asked? Oh, you mean this, right? My apologies, Detective. Due to present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making my request. My name? Never in a million years would I have thought it was you who asked me. Could I bother you to bring the SL9 incident files? Alright, chat, I hope you like reading. I really hope that you like reading. I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy. The SL9 incident. But Lana, that's... I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. Okay, I mean, at least it seems like she's helping us get to the bottom of this a little bit. Maybe she does trust us to solve this mess. Here, you might do well to read them. I can't believe you, the chief prosecutor, were a witness in that case. Oh, God. This police department really needs a copy machine. They really do. Miss Sky was a witness. Files for the Joe Dark killings, solved 2 years ago. SL9 incident files received from Lana Sky. Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with serial murderers. Oh, we do. Trust me, on this channel, we do. I mean, we're playing these games. Alright. Incident number SL9. Closed. Perpetrator, Joe Dark. Crime, serial murder. Sentence, death. Victims. Chat, I think I see something here. Neil Marshall. We've seen that last name before. Neil Marshall. Wouldn't happen to be related to our good friend Officer Marshall, would he? Rachel Moss, Jason Knight, Edward Jones, Edith Kirby, Jeb Bates. There's something else of interest here. Head Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth and the witnesses of the SL9 incident just so happened to be Lana and Emma Sky. Emma was a witness. And then there's even more mysterious things connected to this case. The executive investigators were both Damon and Lana, and the head investigator was Bruce Goodman, with the investigators working under him being Jake Marshall, who it seems someone related to him was killed here, and Angel Starr. We knew that those three were connected to this. The last names of the victims again. Jones, Kirby, Bates, Knight, Moss, and Marshall. Marshall being rather similar to Neil. There might be more in there. You were wrong. Sorry. Well, not that we know of yet, anyway. And we know that Lana and Emma witnessed it. Oh God, we're gonna have a hell of a week next time. Oh, what? Now that I've brought you your stuff, you're just gonna ignore me? Emma? But why? Why is your name here? What? My name's in there? I don't know. Unless... No, it couldn't be. Lana, this SL9 incident, is that... That's the classification number. the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as the Joe Dark killings. The Joe Dark. No, Lana. That's over with. No. Emma, wait. She ran away. You know what? I just remembered I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, pal, but I'm out of here. Jake Marshall, Angel Starr, Damon Gant, Miles Edgeworth. Not to mention Lana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. This can't be just a coincidence. Knowing you just might be able to figure it out. Seems Lana does actually trust us to some extent. To be able to solve this mess. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck. I'd better take a good look at this file. And unfortunately, chat, with that, we are 40 minutes over time, though we have completed the Meekins section of this day. We have to get into the SL9 incident next Friday. I hope to see you then to continue this case. Thank you all very much for coming by and watching. I'll see you tomorrow for Persona 5 Royal and getting on to the next dungeon, finally. I hope y'all have a lovely rest of your evening, then. Night.